Before we begin, if you love real-life stories that challenge the way you think and help you become stronger, hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It costs you nothing, but it means everything. Let's dive in. There was a young man named Bruno who lived in a small village surrounded by hills and dust roads. Every morning, the villagers woke up before sunrise to work their farms, build their homes, and care for their families. But Bruno woke up whenever he felt like it. He had dreams, big ones. He wanted to leave the village one day, maybe start a business, maybe build something that mattered. But every time he tried to start, he quit. He would begin a project with fire in his chest. Then 2 days later, the fire was gone. He told himself he was waiting for the right time, waiting for motivation, waiting to feel ready. But the truth? Bruno was afraid of discipline. He thought discipline meant suffering. He thought it meant giving up freedom, so he avoided it. And while he avoided it, his life stayed the same, month after month, year after year. One evening, Bruno sat outside his house, blowing a whistle with his mouth, watching the sunset, and his grandfather walked over and sat beside him. His grandfather was old, but his back was still straight. His hands were rough from decades of work, but his eyes were sharp. He looked at Bruno and said, "You know why the river never stops flowing?" Bruno shrugged. "Because it rains?" His grandfather shook his head. "No, because it carved a path. Every single day it moves in the same direction. It doesn't wake up one morning and decide to flow backward. It doesn't take a break because it's tired. It keeps going, and over time it cuts through stone." Bruno didn't say anything, but those words stayed with him. The next morning, his grandfather gave him a challenge. "For 30 days, I want you to wake up at 5 in the morning, walk to the top of the hill behind the village, then come back and start your day. That's it. No excuses. Can you do that?" Bruno laughed. "That's easy." But it wasn't. The first day, he woke up late. The second day, he made it halfway up the hill and turned back. By day 5, he wanted to quit completely. His body ached. His mind told him it didn't matter. No one was watching. No one cared. But on the 6th morning, something shifted. He woke up before the alarm. He walked to the top of the hill, and for the first time, he saw the village from above. The smoke rising from morning fires, the farmers already in the fields, the world moving while he had been sleeping. And he realized something. Discipline wasn't about punishment. It was about power. The power to choose his actions instead of being controlled by his feelings. The power to show up even when no one was clapping. The power to become someone he could respect. So Bruno kept going, not because it was easy, but because he decided that his word to himself mattered more than comfort. He started waking up early every day. Then he added one more habit. He began reading for 30 minutes before bed. Then he started working on a small woodworking project he had abandoned months ago, not because he felt like it, but because he had made a promise to himself. And slowly, everything changed. 3 months later, Bruno had finished his first project, a beautifully carved chair that he sold to a merchant passing through the village. It wasn't much money, but it was proof. Proof that discipline turns ideas into reality. Proof that consistency is stronger than talent. Proof that the person who shows up every day will always beat the person who only shows up when they feel inspired. Within a year, Bruno had built a small workshop. People from neighboring villages started placing orders. He wasn't rich, but he was no longer the man who waited for life to happen. He had become the man who made it happen. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being faithful to the process.
It's about understanding that every single day you show up, you're voting for the person you want to become. And every day you don't, you're voting against yourself. The river doesn't cut through stone because it's strong. It cuts through stone because it never stops. If you want to change your life, stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start small. Start today. And let discipline become your power. If this story hit you differently, subscribe to this channel. We're building a community of people who don't just watch, they apply. People who are done making excuses and ready to become the strongest version of themselves. Hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe because your next breakthrough might be one story away. Discipline is power, and the power is in your hands. Not tomorrow, right now.